All right, we are live, Oslin.
We're live! Yay! Yay! I'm so happy to be live
Me
today.
too.
Our Sunday book club, Pages and Perspectives. We pushed this time back
Yes,
1 hour, but all is well. We're still getting it done. So,
we're still being consistent. That's
yes,
all
like
that
I said,
matters.
T, thank you for adjusting the time, and thank you everybody that's tuning in and also on the replay.
Yes. And I'm sorry if I sound a little weird. I am a little bit under the weather, but I am pushing through. So if my voice sounds a little weird, that is why.
Yep.
But hello, Abigail.
Hi, Abigail. How are you?
But I'm going to go ahead and get started with our intro.
Okay.
So, welcome to Pages and Perspectives with Tee and Oslin. It's a live book club where we explore meaningful books through open conversations and shared reflection. You don't have to be caught up to join in. Different perspectives are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
We're not fixing, diagnosing, or judging anybody. So, anything
Yep.
you share here is speaking from your own personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't judge. We're not judging. We're not here
Yep.
to judge what you say up here. We want to hear as many voices as possible and as many perspectives as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we welcome each and every one of you that come in, either on the live or on the replay. We are just happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
Abigail's listening while running errands.
Awesome. Sunday errands, Sunday reset time.
Yes, the reset for the week.
Yep,
We are glad you are doing good, Abigail.
absolutely. All right. So, um, yes, like you said, thank you to everyone on the replay and everyone here live, Abigail and everyone else who tunes in. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our chapter overview. So, of course, we're reading The Subtle Art. And
Yes.
after this week, we have one more chapter.
One more
One
chapter.
more
I
chapter.
cannot believe we
I
went
know,
through this
right?
book that fast. It was pretty fast.
Yes, it was. It does. It definitely feels fast. But it's
Mm-hmm.
very enjoyable. So chapter 7 and 8 were really good chapters, and I'm gonna if you see me looking, I'm looking at my phone for my review. So chapter 7 and 8 were really great chapters. I needed both of these chapters.
Me too.
Okay, I needed both of these chapters, and I'll explain, of course, why. So chapter 7 is called Failure is the Way Forward. So the main idea of this chapter that Mark Manson was speaking about is failure is necessary for growth. The only way to improve at anything in life is by making mistakes and learning from them. So you have to go through a process of being wrong and quote unquote failing to move forward. So many people avoid failure because they want to feel confident and successful. They don't like the feeling of not knowing. But if you avoid trying new things because you're afraid of failure, you're actually keeping yourself stuck in the same place. So, one of the key concepts of this chapter, and the one that I personally needed, was um, he broke down about how people think that when it comes to starting new, when it comes to starting something new or doing something that you always wanted to do, we all know about motivation. Motivation is a thing that when we feel it, it feels so good. It's great. It gets us going. But when we don't have motivation, we tend to be stuck, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
I am. Okay, but so you said a lot of people think that you have to be motivated, and then you take action, and then you become inspired. Well, he explains it actually works like this: action first, inspiration, and then motivation. That makes a lot of sense because you
Mm-hmm.
have to take a step, even if it's a small step, you have to take a step in order to be inspired, and that refeeds your motivation. You don't have to worry about running out of motivation or not being motivated if you're taking action and you are appreciating the action that you take, because that will keep you inspired. So, of course, he always gives some examples in stories to complement the points that he's bringing out. So, one of them. He gave the or another part of chapter 7 is, like we said, being wrong is a part of learning. So he gave the example of the scientist mindset. He compares life to how scientists work. Scientists expect to be wrong most of the time. So they run experiments, they test ideas, they gather evidence, and they update their theories as they fail. And so he's basically saying we must approach life the same way. We have to get rid of the idea of making the perfect decision the first time. Like he's saying, being afraid of failure and being afraid to say, "Oh, I was wrong," or "Oh, I was messed up." It just keeps you in this state of being stuck. So
That was
that's
a
where,
perfect example for
yeah.
me working in science and
Ooh,
biotechnology. That was
absolutely.
that made it click immediately for me because it is like that. Scientists go in expecting to be wrong.
Yes. Because they have a what's it called? Hypothesis. Or
Hypothesis that they're
yeah,
trying to
that
prove.
they have to
So,
prove, right.
yep.
And they're willing to go through the cycle of
Mm-hmm.
proving it right.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. And so yeah, so he gave us a lot of different examples. He talks about how personal growth requires you to update your identity, basically meaning you have to allow your beliefs and identity to change with your values, which was a really great point in chapter 7. Yeah, that I can't think of it without looking at it, but that was I know you talking. No, I'm talking about T when he started talking about like in order for your values to change, or how did he put it? If you, let's say you want to, he used some
I think.
examples like you want a happy marriage.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a happy marriage, then your happy marriage has to be the focal point. So where anything that doesn't add to your happy marriage is something that you completely reject. You have
Mm-hmm.
to completely reject anything that doesn't feed whatever that is. So for me, if it's I want to lose weight and I want to get healthy, I have to literally reject anything that is not aligned with that.
Mm-hmm.
Snacks, cakes, chips, all of that stuff is not aligned with a healthy lifestyle. So I have to be in a state where I completely change my identity to reject those things so that I can focus on what it is I'm placing value on.
Yes.
7 was really good.
That it really was. It
Yeah.
really was because it laid it out really cut and dry.
Yeah, streamline. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then chapter 8 was one I really enjoyed. Chapter 8 is the importance of saying no. Here, he's explaining how you cannot care about everything. When you try to say yes to everyone and everything, your values lose meaning, and your life becomes meaningful when you choose what not to care about. So again, just like he did in the first couple chapters, he's making sure, even though the book is called "The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F," you have to care about something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you don't care about anything in life, that puts you in a whole nother category. But the important thing is, and the subtle art is in knowing what to care about and what not to care about. So he talks about how boundaries create meaning. When you reject certain things, you define what actually matters to you. Examples include saying no to toxic relationships, distractions, values that don't align with your goals. He used the example of people who try to please everyone. He also compared it to like relationships that we may be in, like marriage or spouse relationships as well as work relationships, and the idea of someone being entitled on either side, whether you're a type of person that you have a sense of entitlement to where if somebody that you're in a relationship with does not you don't get your way, um this turns into like the way he broke it down was just so great. But a lot of people have a dynamic in their relationship where if they don't get their way, they feel entitled to the other person um catering to their feelings, right? They
Constantly being in agreement.
yes, constantly being in agreement
Yeah.
and bending to their will in the relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
you have some people that have that, and then you also have the people that have the savior complex, to where they want to they need to feel needed so much that if they don't feel needed, they no longer have value, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Um, so what else? Yeah, so he gave the marriage example. He explains that when someone chooses a partner for a marriage, They're rejecting billions of potential other partners, but that rejection is what makes the commitment meaningful. Same thing applies to careers, friendships, life goals.
Mhm.
Um, he described how healthy relationships require conflict. So, trying to avoid all conflict usually leads to resentment and dishonesty. He talks about honest relationships, explaining that strong relationships allows space for disagreement. If two people never argue or challenge each other, someone is probably hiding their true feelings.
Mhm.
Healthy
Cuz you're
relationships,
you're not a clone of somebody.
yeah, exactly. Um, Healthy relationships require the ability to say things like "I disagree," "That bothers me," and "No." So the big lesson from chapter 8 is that your life improves when you protect your values with boundaries. You cannot please everyone, and trying to do so will weaken your sense of purpose.
Mhm.
Yep. So those
That
are
was a
chapter
great
8.
overview.
Thank
Oh, that
you.
was a great overview. There was so much jam packed in these chapters that
Yes,
is
chapter
just
8. Chapter 8
unreal.
was meaty, very meaty, but I
Woo,
loved
it
it.
was.
Yeah.
I actually went back and read that one
Hmm.
again. I read it the first time and then I went back and read it again because it does seem like it just has so much
Yes.
packed in there.
Hmm.
But I don't know where to begin and where what I took from these chapters. Like what my first thought was in chapter 7,
Hmm.
the failure forward idea of I think the thing that stuck out to me with that is you have to try.
Hmm.
You cannot sit back and just like think to yourself, these are the things that I want to do and these are the things, but I'm not taking any active steps
Hmm.
toward trying to make it happen. I'm
Right.
just honestly wishing on a star.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, you can be like that, but it's not going to get you
It's
anywhere.
not going to get you anywhere.
It's not going to get you anywhere.
I
No.
think about so many people though that they'll say I always had a dream of such and such. And I always had a dream, and you'll be like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I just never.
Hmm.
I just never. It just never happened.
Right.
And most of the time it's because they just never did
They never
anything
tried.
to try to make it
Hmm.
happen. Because I
Right.
know I can say that for me in my own life.
Hmm.
The things that I used to dream about, nothing held me back from it
Right.
but my attempt, my
Hmm.
personal, or my values changed.
Yeah. Or your values change.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that was one of the things I thought about in these chapters. And then another thing I thought about was that whole, oh man, that chapter 8 part about being able to be honest.
Hmm.
Being
Yeah.
able to be honest in a relationship, any relationship,
Right.
uh, marital, friendship, or
Hmm.
whatever, being able to be honest in a relationship actually builds trust.
It does. It really does.
Because how many times have we heard, or in our own experiences, we'll be like, this person is going to tell me what it is.
Hmm.
They're going to tell me what it is, whether I like it or
Or not.
not, or we don't. And it's usually that person that we find the most respect, have the most respect
Yeah.
for.
Yep. And when we're in a bind or when we don't know and we just need a real voice, we know
Mm-hmm.
who to go to because this person is
Mm-hmm.
honest with me. Whether that's your partner that you're in a relationship with, a good friend, a family member,
Mm-hmm.
those honest relationships are it's like iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Even if you have to go
Yes.
through yeah, even if you have to go through the um bit of like being upset because just because somebody is just because that is a meaningful connection to have doesn't mean that it's always easy, you know,
Right.
to even express something honestly or receive honest feedback about how
Yeah.
somebody will feel.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Because receiving honesty is also a thing.
Yep. Hmm.
And it can be hard. It
Right, because
can
you don't
real
have
be
people in
difficult.
like, yeah, you have those people in like too that can dish it but can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
They can be honest, but you better not tell them nothing about them. You better not tell them nothing about because they cannot take it, but they can show you
Mm-hmm.
out. Hi, AJ Pete.
Hello, AJ.
But yes, see, for the chapter 7, one of the things that it really put on my mind was my gym goals. Okay, because I have goals. I felt like I wanted to like fitness goals that I felt like I wanted to complete by my birthday in June,
Mm-hmm.
which I still have time.
You have time.
But I also feel like this is it can be okay. T, you remember how you described your um journey to saving and finances as like a year of sacrifice?
Mm-hmm.
I need to do that with my health goals. I need a
Okay.
good solid year of no plan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want. And that's I know what it's going to take to reach the goals that I want to reach. However, wait, I was talking about two different things at once. Oh yeah, so for that, the part in chapter 7 that, like I mentioned, okay, hold on. He talked about the do something principle. He talked about the do
Oh,
something principle, where
I
he's
cannot
basically
remember what he called it.
yeah. So I wrote it right there so I wouldn't forget, because I'm kind of like, even though we're at
Yeah,
the
the
end
do
of the book,
something
I'm
principle. Yeah.
learning. I'm learning how to keep it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, summarize this part is this. So that part is basically like how I was explaining in the overview of when you want to accomplish something but you don't feel motivated or inspired, then you just assume that you're messed up and there's nothing you can do about it. But all you have to
Right.
do is take action, like one time. You know what I mean? And that action, allow that action to keep feeding, keep feeding, and until, I mean, it depends on how fast you feel inspired. But if it's something that you really want to accomplish, the inspiration is not too far. It's not hard to attain if you already want it. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
you have to take action in order to be motivated.
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciated that part. Now, one part that I also appreciated was the point about failure. Um, so becoming a mortgage loan officer, um, that was my first ever career choice. Up until the point of, like getting my license and making a decision to be a loan officer, every job that I had was just a job. That was the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I looked at and said, like, okay, career path, right? The first year was very grueling to me. I mean, grueling in all aspects. Okay. I'm talking about from learning, okay, because learning mortgage is like learning another language.
Mm.
It's like learning another language. It's like it's completely brand new, And then, even once you know the basics to pass the test and to get licensed, meaning, most of the times you get licensed in something, it teaches you, it keeps you from being in jail, mortgage laws, how things work.
Yes.
But it's one of those things where the actual structuring of a loan is completely different. You got a whole nother of hands-on learning. So that's just one layer. Then you have the layer of, depending on the realm of mortgage that you're in, you may have to build a business. You may have to reach out and network with realtors and build business. That might include branding yourself on social media, all these things, and then you don't get paid until it closes. Okay. So this is really a path that I I really, it was very grueling for me, right? I gave it 2 strong years. I took 1 year off. This comeback that I'm doing now, re-entering into, when I tell you, it feels so good to be starting over with all that past experience. You know what I mean? Like all that past
Mm-hmm.
experience, it's like, even though I'm starting over, I'm not a beginner, so to speak. Like the dots are connected because I allowed myself to fail. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I allowed myself to try and figure out this don't work. Like all different things. So when I was reading that, that's what really came to my mind, because it's something I personally experienced. And I remember, let's say 3 years ago when I decided to do this, I was a little bit, I remember having to tell myself, I have to be okay with putting myself out there in a way where if this doesn't work, I can't care about people seeing me
What
fail.
happens after? Yep.
Yeah, and I can't care about people
Yep.
seeing me fail. I have to realize that um at least I tried. And
Hmm.
that's where I fall at a lot of different times to help me get over the quote unquote fear of failure. I would rather fail than be stagnant and not do anything and not try. That's me, So those were really good chapters. And then for me in chapter 8 was the boundaries. The whole part about boundaries.
Yes.
The whole part about boundaries. He gave the example of Romeo and Juliet, which I thought was very funny. Did you think that was
It
funny?
was that part was hilarious. It was hilarious.
That part
But
was
you know
so
what I
funny.
thought about too with that
Yeah.
boundary stuff?
Hmm.
I think it would really resonate with anyone who was a people pleaser.
Yes, absolutely. Yep,
It will resonate.
absolutely.
Yep.
Sure does. Because, that's something that I had to overcome, and it definitely resonated with me because I know from today looking back, setting boundaries is where it started for me.
Hmm.
Setting boundaries is where it started for me. Like something about setting boundaries literally empowers you.
It
Especially when you
truly
accept,
does.
yeah, when you accept that, because you have to accept this part. And this is the part that's not easy. Once you start setting boundaries, people that don't respect your boundaries are going to fall off. They're going to fall off. Are you okay with that? Are you okay
Or
with
you'll
that?
kick them to the curb.
Or you'll kick them to the curb. Yeah, somehow they're gonna fall off whether they decide to leave or whether you decide to remove yourself.
Hmm.
That relationship is not going to be there anymore. And are you okay with that? You have to choose yourself though. Um, I feel like when I started setting boundaries and really showing up like how I knew I wanted to, it's just like a little trickle effect. You know what I mean? And for some people that can scare a lot of people because the people that they have in their life, their relationships, whether it's parents, friends, siblings, work, they don't feel like those relationships can be. They feel like that's all that they have.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I can understand with parents, but even with parents, you have to have boundaries. You know what I mean? Because, well, T, you're our parent. I'm speaking from the point
And
somebody that.
I still feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing
Like
is,
I
too,
tell my daughter, like, hey, when I offend you,
yeah,
or when I do wrong, like you need to speak up for yourself. You need to
absolutely.
tell me because that's what exactly what he said in the chapter about building an honest relationship with
Yeah,
trust. She's got to tell me,
right. Absolutely. Because I
you
think,
know.
and you can give me your perspective as a parent. I feel
Hmm.
like parents, even when children grow up, even when their child grows up,
Hmm.
they will always, in some way, see their child as their child. It's like
Yes.
this is your child, but they're just doing adult stuff now.
Hmm.
So that means sometimes your parents might overstep. They might, you might have a new boundary in place, and your parents used to being your parents, so they like say and do whatever. But you have to tell them, mom, dad, no, and without
Yes.
the fear of damaging that relationship or without the fear of them going off the deep end, because that's another thing. You might have somebody in your life where it's a parent, a spouse. You don't feel like you can be honest because you are concerned about how they're going to react. That's not a healthy relationship. If you don't feel like you can be honest because and he talked about that. He used that as an example. If you feel like you can't be honest because this person is going to like he said, throw dishes all over the place or throw a tantrum, and
Hmm.
you just live in a space where you're shrinking your feelings because you don't want to step on anybody else's toes. Those are not relationships that are conducive to your well-being.
And they're not gonna last
And they're not going to
because at
last.
some point,
And if they do last, you're going to be miserable.
yeah, you're either going to be miserable and it lasts, or it's not going to last because one day you're going to be like, I can't do this anymore. I can't sit here and just, I can't even be honest. I
Right.
can't even be real with the person I'm supposed to be with. That's not conducive to lasting, to be quite
Right.
honest with you.
Mm-mm. It's not. And I just love the way that he breaks it down, because I know, like, when we get up here and we talk about it, we're like, it's like high level overview, and it's like our own perspectives, which is the whole
Mm-hmm.
purpose. But actually reading the way that he says it is just like chef's kiss. Like, he breaks it down so clearly and so plainly.
Yep.
I love that it's straightforward. You know what I mean?
He does
Um,
not beat around the bush. He
no, he
says
doesn't
it
beat around the bush.
exactly. Even sometimes he'll say things, and I'm like, ooh, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it's a little harsh. Why did you say it that way?
right.
But yeah.
Yeah, like I'm looking at one page. He says he's talking about the dynamic between victims in a relationship, victims and savers.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that victims and savers both use each other to achieve emotional highs, like an addiction. So it's basically saying that then this is a point too. Even from someone that used to be a people pleaser, even if you're in a situation where you're the people pleaser and you're the saver, so to speak, you are getting some type of gratification from being that person.
Mm-hmm.
You are getting some type of, like, this feels good for you to always be saving this person or trying to help somebody. Like, you have that savior complex. But at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, you're really abandoning your own boundaries.
Yep.
If you can't do that with just out of the sheer, this is what I want to do. If you're doing it because you're afraid, like the underlying thing is fear, or the underlying thing is avoidance. You want to avoid drama, or you want to be the peacemaker. That's how you fall into a people
I
pleasing.
see I see so many people that do that though, that always want to be the savior.
Yeah,
Most of the time, or a lot of the times, I know when I've done that, what I wanted to do, what my fear was of losing the person.
yeah,
So
hmm,
I want to keep them needing me.
right, yeah,
So
hmm,
so them needing me was feeding me
yeah,
my
absolutely,
whatever.
right,
And that person though wasn't able to grow because they were never able
yes,
to grow beyond that point, because they I required them to need me like that
yeah,
for it to work on my side. Do you see what I'm saying?
absolutely, yeah, and I can totally relate to that also. And I see that dynamic a lot as well. And it's really one of those things that it's just relationship. It don't matter if it's a romantic relationship, a
Mm-mm.
friendship, a sibling, or a parent. That's a principle that applies to all relationships.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you see it in all relationships. You see it
Hmm.
play out like that in all relationships.
Yeah. And then the part about how to build trust, is this is still in, and that's the thing. Like, I'm like looking, and even when I was doing the summary, I wasn't sure where it crossed, because I like read it at the same time. But
Mm-hmm.
this is in chapter 7, the importance of saying no. Is that, or is that chapter 8? No, that's
I thought
chapter
that
8.
was chapter 8.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's chapter 8. So, under the part where he talks about how to build trust, he's basically talking about the dynamic between him and his wife. How she'll go and spend time getting ready and doing all the things he says women do to get ready, and she looks good most of the time, but those times where she doesn't and he's honest, she stomps back in, saying whatever. And then it's like a little bit awkward, because you didn't like it, but at the same time you build trust with your partner because they're gonna keep it real with you and
He
tell
was
you
being real. He was like,
they're
I don't
being
like
real.
that. I don't like that outfit.
Yeah,
I don't like that. Yeah, no.
yes, and
That's not gonna
and,
work.
he said that she does the same thing for him. Maybe
Mhm.
even if it's not that same scenario of how you may be looking, but any she keeps him in check, and he keeps her in check, and it builds
Mhm.
trust between them. And I feel like someone that is newly married, I'm very, very happy to like have that standard already in my marriage. You know what I mean? Like, that's so important to me. Like, I'm not good at I was telling Logan this the other day. I'm not a elephant in the room type of person. As long as the elephant is in the room in any scenario, whether it's, marriage, whatever, as long as the elephant is in the room, I'm going to be uncomfortable.
It's
And I don't like
uncomfortable.
being
Yep.
uncomfortable. So I'm going to have to address it every single time. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking
Hmm.
about just marriage. I'm just saying, like, anytime something is there, the best thing to do is speak it out. Speak it out. I don't like sometimes I may go around, or in the past I've gone around people, and you can kind of, that feeling of, you can tell when somebody, the feeling of you've been talked about before you arrived.
Hmm.
You know how awkward that is,
And
like,
you feel it as
because
soon
your
as you walk in.
your energy knows it, but it's
Yeah.
like you just kind of, you didn't hear it, or but you know it. I
Hmm.
hate that feeling. I don't like that feeling. And I'm
So
typically the type of
Oslo walks in like, what was said?
no, I
What
don't
was
though.
said?
And when I
I'm
don't,
joking.
yeah, yeah, when I don't, it's like it's almost like it's almost like, honestly, it's like abandoning a piece of myself. If I
Hmm.
don't speak on it, it's like abandoning a piece of myself. But however, because I've been like that for a while now, I've learned something. Sometimes you have to just suck it up, and this is why. Not everyone is down for that.
Hmm.
Not everyone, some people are perfectly okay with the elephant.
Hmm.
Some people are perfectly okay with the elephant. And if you, because I've been this person before, if you try to address the elephant, they're gonna make you look like you crazy. They're gonna try to
Yep.
make you look like you crazy.
They're gonna
They're
make
gonna
you
try
look
to make
like you are
you
mental,
they're gonna
is
try
what
to make
they're
you feel
gonna
like you're
do.
mental, and like they just, but that's why I thrive the best in any relationship where we can just put it on the table. How do
Hmm.
you feel about this? How do I feel about this? How do we meet in the middle? And then everything's good after that.
And
I
it
don't think,
doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
and it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. No. But
Because
you always
somebody's
grow
gonna
from
say
it.
something one day, and you're gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, tell me how you really feel.
Yep.
But they
Right.
really feel that way, you know.
Yep. Absolutely.
It may be something you need to think about. It may really be something
And then
that needed to be
sometimes,
said.
right. And then sometimes, when you are willing to speak up and address the elephant, and like I said, I keep like I keep saying this, and I'm not trying to be like redundant, but it really does apply to all relationships. When you do speak up and address it, you always can move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever that is. Whatever direction forward is, you're not stuck in that same point. So you're gonna either grow from it, or maybe it's something that was so terrible you couldn't get over it, but this is no longer a connection that you want to have in your life.
Yes.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But you can't go wrong. You can only go wrong from doing what he's saying, which is basically abandoning your yourself by not being honest, by glossing over, by trying to keep the peace. There's healthy relationships require conflict in some aspect.
And you're abandoning your values.
Yep, you're abandoning your own values.
Yeah. But that kind of led in that last part you were talking about, kind of led into one of my
Awesome.
gym drops. I started it from, well, there's one of them. I took one from each chapter this time because there was
Nice.
so much
Yeah.
packed in. And oh man, I think I just moved my, no.
Oh, it's okay, T. I know you're gonna find
Okay.
it.
The the one is right after he was actually talking about his wife.
Hmm.
And this was the gem drop from chapter 8, so I'll start with that one.
Okay.
When our highest priority is to always make ourselves feel good or to always make our partner feel good, then nobody ends up feeling good. And our relationship falls apart without our even knowing it. Without conflict, there can be no trust. Conflict exists to show us who is there for us unconditionally and who is just there for the benefits. No one trusts a yes man.
Hmm.
If Disappointment Panda was here, y'all remember Disappointment Panda? me tell you that the pain in our relationship is necessary to cement our trust in each other and produce greater intimacy.
Mhm.
For a relationship to be healthy, both people must be willing and able to both say no and hear no.
Yep.
Without that negation, without that occasional rejection, boundaries break down and one person's problems and values come to dominate the others. Conflict is not only normal then, it's absolutely necessary
Mhm.
for the maintenance of a healthy relationship. If two people who are close are not able to hash out their differences openly and vocally, then the relationship is based on manipulation and misrepresentation, and it will slowly become toxic.
Yep.
That was
Absolutely.
the gem drop from chapter 8.
Yep. That was beautiful. That's perfect because it's true.
Hmm.
You know,
If I
it's
can't be
true.
real with you, if I can't tell you the truth,
Hmm.
what do we have really?
What do we
If you
have?
really think about it,
No,
what do we
seriously.
have?
Hmm.
It's a whole show. It's fake.
Yes.
Everything is fake.
Yes, it is. Which I think it's in that same area. How he was talking about how Western civilization, like our culture, builds us to be that way versus
Oh, I
Russia.
love that part.
Me too. I did.
Because he was talking about Russia, and I know a few people from Russia that I work with, and they are very
Hmm.
to the point. They
Yeah.
do not
Mhm.
mince words. They
Right.
do not try to make you feel good.
Right.
It's a flat, you do you like this? No, I
Yeah.
don't. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's not, they don't mean any harm by it. They're
Right.
just being really,
Candid and
really
honest.
honest.
Yeah.
And I dig it. But it
Me
took a
too.
while for me to, because I'm so used to the American way of kind of being like, oh, well, it kind of, instead of saying, no, I don't like that, it's, well,
Yeah.
if you look at it this way, we try to find the sunny side of
Right.
something, even when inside we don't like it.
Yes. Hmm.
We won't say it.
Yeah.
We just won't say it. We try to find something else to focus on, but
Absolutely.
they don't.
They
They do
don't.
not.
They do not. And I love the way he because the perspective of how I think he related it to just like how our economy is set up, like
Hmm.
with sales, like being in sales and
Hmm.
um all these different things. That's why I say like talking about it is one thing, but actually like reading it is completely different
Yes.
because the breakdown is just really good. But I never thought about that. I never thought about how Western civilization embedded that in me. Like, because we do
Hmm.
need to be polite
And
majority of
it
the time.
continues to embed it
Yeah, exactly.
even
It
more
does.
so today, if
It
you think
does.
about it.
Absolutely. Now, one of my personal pet peeves, and I can't say that I am not guilty of this, but
Hmm.
I know it's a pet peeve when people do it to me. When people just don't when people just don't speak up about how they feel, or if I ask somebody something, like how you just said, how people do
Hmm.
that thing where like if I ask somebody, I don't know, I can't think of an example of a question, but they give me that, oh, no, 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 and it's just like I can't tell if you like it or not. Like, just say if you
Hmm.
want this, or do you want to do this, or
Just
you do
say
not
no.
want to do this. Like, like, can you just give me a straight answer?
Hmm.
Because I'll be telling, I'm like, I don't think I'm a little slow. Like, I mean, I ain't, and I am. I'll say that to this extent.
No, you
I'm
are
slow when
not.
it comes to communicating in a gray area.
Mm.
I'm very much so. I need a yes or a no. Is something we doing or something we not doing? Do you want to do this or do you not want to do this? Because the moment I get
Hmm.
a no, I'm good with that. I'll just proceed however I need to proceed, depending on the situation. But I don't
Hmm.
like for people to give me that grayish that you don't have to be you don't have to be rude, but you don't have to try to save my feelings. Like I can take it. And I just want that's something I would say I want more people to know about me. I can take it. You can be real with me,
I
regardless.
always take the gray stuff as a no.
Well,
Like,
it
because I feel like
depends.
if you gotta fluff it, if you gotta do all of the
Yeah.
extras, but
Right.
you don't really give me a straightforward answer. It's really you don't like this, or
Yeah.
it's a no, but you don't want to say it because you think it's going to hurt my
Yeah.
feelings. That's
Right.
how I always take it.
Yeah. I
And I
mean,
always just take it like it's a no, and I'll scratch the idea or scratch the,
yeah, and
just
that's
move
a good
on to
idea
another
too.
thing.
I stand in this space of confusion until I get a yes or no. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Like,
Because I'll be thinking in my brain, I'm like, man, why doesn't this person just go ahead and tell me like why don't they just spit it
yeah,
out? They're trying
yeah.
to be nice, and I don't require that
And if I
fluffy nicety.
right, and if I I'm talking about past tense, if I'm in a situation where I'm feeling a little a-holy, I would
Hmm.
completely ignore the fact that I know you don't want to do this and do it anyway because you should have told me no. You
And
know,
I've
like
done
you
that
should
before
have
as
told me.
well.
You should have told me no. If you told
I've
me
done
no, we
that
would not be
before. You
doing
were
this.
not clear.
But yeah,
You
you
were
weren't
not
clear.
clear. Could have been either or.
Right,
So I
exactly.
chose the other, even
Yeah,
knowing that the person didn't.
right. Because you didn't say no. You just say give me some little gray area.
But yeah, I don't like gray areas either, though, Oslin. I like just give it to me straight.
Yeah, give it to me straight. I'm grown. I can handle it. You know.
Hmm. And I still may not agree, and I still may go in that direction if I
Right.
feel like that's where I need to go. But I'll accept the consequences
Right.
of the direction that I go in.
Absolutely.
But and then the gem drop that I got from chapter 7, it's just something that struck me. If you think of, this is from chapter 7,
Hmm.
failure is the way forward. If you think about a young child trying to learn to walk, that child will fall down, hurt itself 100 times, but at no point does that child ever stop and think, oh, I guess walking just isn't for me
Hmm.
and I'm not good at it.
Right.
That stuck out to me so much because it's like we lose that as we get older.
Yep.
That feeling of, like, a child will fall, bump his head,
Mhm.
skin and knee, trying to learn these skills, but at no time do they ever
Nope,
just
they
give
get
up,
back up
like
like they don't even know
sit
something
down and say,
happened.
I'm not gonna walk. I
Right.
just don't want to, you
Right.
know. They
Yeah.
just keep getting up and trying, and I think we lose that as we get older. It's like we get one little bump or bruise and we're like, yeah, nah, I'm never gonna do that again. I'm never gonna try
Hmm.
that again. But sometimes those bumps and bruises are what give us the knowledge. Had we tried it again, we may have cracked the code,
Yep.
you
Exactly.
know, because we had that knowledge then. Because every failure is a little bit more knowledge
Hmm.
if you look
Absolutely.
at it that way.
Yep. And then also, it helps to go into the idea of trying something new, just knowing, accepting that you have to figure it out.
Mhm.
Even if it's something that you're naturally skilled at, your skills are going to go through a refinement process that is looks like trial and error. You
Mhm.
know, even if you have guidance, even if you have a mentor that's teaching you, you cannot expect on your first time trying something not to fail. It's so unrealistic. And it's a terrible standard to measure yourself against, when it comes to success.
And I
And
think a lot of people, like even up here on YouTube,
hmm
a lot of people get that they never really, like, their YouTube never really takes off because they give up.
hmm
Because if it's not immediate, like within 6 months,
right.
I was monetized, or within, but truly, a lot of creators have been up here for years before they made it
Yep.
to that point.
hmm
But,
Absolutely.
it's just gotten to be so, so much faster. I guess the expectation is so much faster
hmm
now.
And I think for that too, T, that's a great example of YouTube, and it makes me think about um the example and the point that he was making when he talked about Picasso, about how Picasso
Hmm.
made so many paintings. Or how did he start it off? He was basically talking about what we value.
Yes.
What do we value, and how you say if you set your value. Oh, he had a mic drop because I know people like this in real life. No shade. People that like people that I underlined it. Um, he was talking about growing up in a wealthy family where money was never a problem,
Yep.
and how growing up in a wealthy family, money was more often used to avoid problems than solving them, which he felt fortunate to experience because it taught him at an early age that making money by itself was a lousy metric for himself.
For measuring success. And
Yes,
yep.
just
Yep.
just the object of having money.
Mm-hmm.
It really, honestly, money is important. We cannot live without it. But that alone is a metric to anything. It does not define anything about the type of person that you are.
Mm-mm.
It does
If that's
not.
all you have,
If that's all you have, you know what I mean?
like
If that's the
really,
only
like
thing
that's
you
not.
see value in is money, like it doesn't you need more sustenance than that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because you can
then,
be a crappy individual
yeah, you sure could.
with a whole lot of money doing really crappy things and just
Hmm.
a horrible human being to be around.
Yep. And he said, you can make plenty of money and be miserable. That's the part I said I
Mm-hmm.
know people like. You can make plenty of money and be miserable, just as you could be broke and be pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, why use money as a means to measure your self worth?
Exactly.
And so what he was saying with Picasso is a obviously a famous, like, one of the best painters ever. I don't know, did he do the no, that was Da Vinci. I
That
can't
was Da Vinci.
necessarily
I
say.
know what you're thinking about.
Yeah, the
You're
the
thinking
lady
about
Mona
the
Lisa.
um
The Mona Lisa. That was Da Vinci though.
yeah. No, was that?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know. I
But
can't
we
remember.
know he's up there with one of the
I
best.
don't think he did Mona
We
Lisa.
probably know, everybody knows Picasso paintings without, even if we can't name them as Picasso paintings. And the whole point of what he was trying to say is he made so many paintings. He made
Yeah,
money out the
you are
paintings.
correct.
Which one? Oh, the Da Vinci.
Yeah,
Okay,
I get them all mixed up.
me too. Yeah. But basically, he was saying that he was able to continue creating art because he did not necessarily value a metric of, like, um a lifestyle, so to speak. He did his value metric was not lifestyle. It wasn't how many paintings I can create. His value was something as simple as honest expression.
Mm-hmm.
Honest expression was Picasso's value, which is why he could create art and more art and more art and more art. And even the example they gave in the book about him doodling, like, on a napkin and about to throw it away, I don't know if that was real. Do you think that was real?
It's possible.
Okay. So he probably just did research and learned that
I'm
about
gonna I'm
Picasso.
gonna see if it was real. Let's see.
Yeah.
Tell the story so they know the
Okay.
story.
But yeah, so he was giving an example of talking about Picasso, how he was doodling in a cafe or something like that, and the lady kind of was watching him do it, and he was gonna go and throw it away, and the lady asked him for it, and he basically was like, no, I guess. And the lady was like, that only took you 10 minutes to do, or whatever, or 15 minutes. And he was like, no, and basically say however many years it took him to create it. But the whole point of that was to say that the napkin was valuable to him because it was a form of his honest expression. It wasn't just a writing or a drawing on a napkin to him. It was his honest expression, and that's the metric that he measured himself by, or the underlying principle.
Now
Um,
I have looked up whether this is a true story.
uh-huh.
It's a legend. It's
Oh, it's
not
a
a
legend.
true
Okay, I'll take
story.
it. I'll take it.
It's basically it aligns with who he was as a person.
Hmm.
Like people who knew him, the story would match up to how he would
Hmm.
handle that situation.
Right.
But it's not a documented true event.
Okay. I could take a legend. He is a
I like
legend.
it. I like
Yeah, I
it.
like it too. But yeah, that's a good example of what do we value. So even if you have goals of like um maybe making a certain amount of money, for me getting healthy and losing weight, is it something that is powerful enough, whatever your goal is your reason or your value behind it powerful enough to keep you doing it, to keep you going? Like, is it something that's just tangible? Like once you get it, you're gonna be looking around like, now what? Or is it something that you can keep feeding? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like his was honest expression. So he opened up a outlet where he could just write and I mean paint and create, and it was just what he felt,
Whatever he felt
whatever he felt.
at
Yeah.
the time. Yeah. I thought about that. And he talked about traveling. And you
Yes.
remember
Mhm.
when he was talking about when he was
Yes.
young and he wanted to travel and he traveled all over the place. I
Hmm.
forgot how many countries he went to. I want to say 50 something
Hmm. Yeah, he
different
went to a lot.
countries. And then basically one day he was just like, yeah, this is, he didn't have any fulfillment
Right.
anymore in it.
Hmm.
But it was because his value he put on it. It wasn't because he truly valued traveling.
Right.
It's because he valued not committing to anything.
Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
So that's where he talked about, even when you're making decisions like that, or when you're deciding, you have to analyze what you're valuing out of a situation,
Hmm. Absolutely.
because the values that what you value out of that situation could be no good.
Right. Yep. um I was looking at some Picasso art. Yeah, I should look at Picasso art. I actually
I
love
love Picasso art because it's like abstract,
I
kind of
love
crazy
abstract
looking.
art. Yeah. It makes me want to
Yeah,
learn
I
more
love
about
that.
Picasso. Um, so absolutely. I'm sorry, I lost my thought.
I'm sitting here trying not to cough. I'm like trying
Oh,
to.
it's okay, T. You got clear throat. You clear throat. This is your show.
Our show.
Our show. But I know. I mean, like, well, on your side is your show.
I was
um.
like, man, all I got to do is just make it through.
Oh no.
Trying so hard.
Oh, T.
I am trying hard. But yeah. But
Um.
there's a lot in
Yeah,
those
it's a lot.
chapters. Those two chapters are, this is a really good book, by the
It
way.
is. It really is. I really did. I really have been enjoying this book. And I already saw the title of chapter 9, and I'm just like, I wonder what that's about. Did you see the
I
title?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
I was like, oh
yeah. So hi, Chef.
no.
How are
Hey,
you?
chef.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I was like, I don't know about this.
y'all, this is the chap. This is the title of chapter 9, and then you die.
It's
Yeah.
true though. A
It's
lot of,
true.
I'll be honest, Osland.
Hmm.
I think about that so much now,
Hmm.
more than I ever have, and I think it's like that midlife thing for me.
Hmm.
But I think about it all the time. Like, what in
Yeah.
the world?
Yeah. But have you
Like,
found that even thinking about that, does it make you more free? That's what people say.
mm-mm.
No, doesn't like. Well, or the reason why I say is because, and obviously we haven't read chapter 9, so we don't know where he's going
Yeah,
to.
we don't know where he's going with it
Right,
though.
but I would think that like it means if you go through life, right, and you accept the fact that ultimately that's the only guarantee in life, which is really sad. It's
It's
not
true.
natural. It's not natural. But maybe you live your life with a little bit more freedom, because think about how sometimes when people get sick with terminally ill, their whole
Mm-hmm.
life perspective change.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, sometimes people get terminally ill, and they like, all the little stuff that I was worried about, I don't care about anymore. All of the mundane things, like none of that matters anymore. So that's why I asked, like, did it make you feel more free if you think about that?
No, it's going in the opposite direction.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm thinking about things that keep me safe.
Mm. Mhm.
Like I don't want to do this because that's too risky. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
do
Yeah. No, I understand what you're
because
saying.
for some reason
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I be like, man, I it's gonna be something out of the norm. It's not gonna be a normal circumstance. It's gonna
Yeah.
be something wild that I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't need to be doing that. Like
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go skydiving.
Mhm. You should do it.
Now I'm like,
You should do it, T.
I don't know about that because I would be the one where the chute doesn't open. Like this, I don't want to.
Oh,
This is
oh
not
my
it.
gosh. Yeah, that would make me scared too, honestly.
So
Like, yeah,
I'm like I've been thinking about things like that. So I'm not looking at it in the right way.
yeah. I've been
Like
thinking
trying to live
maybe
more fully.
I don't know if this is like if this is like a morbid turn of this show, but
Yeah, I don't want to go there. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I
oh
take it back.
I was about to add on.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be like
Okay, join me, Oslan.
okay, I'll join you. So one of the things for me is, and I thought, we both have milestone birthdays this year. That could be
Mhm.
part of it. But, I was talking to my husband earlier, and I was really thinking about my life in terms of my faith, which is something that's very important to me.
Mhm.
And I was thinking about how there's a chance I might die young. And, like,
Don't
to
do
talk about
that,
being honest
girl.
with your partner, when me and tell you me and Logan are honest, we just talk.
Mhm.
But I was just thinking, like, if there's a chance that I might die young. When I was very, very young, 18, I did the worst thing in my life I could ever possibly do. And I let some dodo at my job read my palm, and she told me I was going to die young. Now, listen to me.
No.
Listen to me.
No.
I was 18 years old. Very, no, I wouldn't, like, I won't ever advise that. Do not let anybody do that to you. However, I've never forgotten it. Even if I like pray and be like, God, please take this thought from my mind, I've never forgotten it. So you know what what I've come to the conclusion of?
What's that?
Young is so relative. I'll be
It
30 in
is.
June. I could be like Jesus and die at 33. I could be like my grandmother and die at 36. I could be like my mother and die at 46. All of that's really young.
Mhm.
However, I do have a grandmother that's 97 and holding.
Mhm.
So, there's a whole nother side of this. However, if I die young, I don't want to live my young life holding myself back.
Fearful.
I don't want to live my young life fearful. I
Mhm.
want to be a person that instills love and faith and confidence into other people, and I want to do it all in the name of my creator.
Yes.
Like, for
I
example,
love that.
if you're anybody's close to me, you already know. I don't talk about my faith on here, but you know what faith
Mhm.
I am.
I do.
I meet people. See, this was very sweet. I started talking about mortgage earlier. The lady that I first started doing mortgage with,
Mhm.
Miss Susan. Shout out to Miss Susan. If she ever see this. She texted me yesterday and said, "Hey, Oz, I have a crazy question to ask you. What's your favorite candle scent?" So I took a couple hours to respond because that's me, but I responded and I was like, I don't really know so many, but I do love tropical scents. She said, I'm starting a wax melt line, and I have a name called New Orleans Lady, inspired by you. And do you think?
Oh.
See? And
Oh.
she was like, do you like magnolia and panini? And I was like, I love that. And I was like, like that's so sweet of you to think about me. And
Oh.
she was like, I will never forget you. You are one of the best people I ever met. And that just touched my heart so much because like if I had to make a decision to do it with my young life, I really wanna, because I know how I am. Like, and I'm like the way that I am is genuine because sometimes I meet people and a lot of people have been gone through life and they don't really believe in themselves. They don't they're not used to being encouraged. I grew up with an abundance of that from my mom,
Mhm.
and my dad. And I naturally am like that with people. And it's very, very genuine. And I'm realizing that it makes a mark on people. And I
It
love
does. It
And I love that.
does.
And I want to continue to be like that, especially if I pray I don't die young. But if I do, I want to make a mark that makes people feel happy and good about themselves. And I want everyone to know that I carry the name of my creator.
Yes.
This is who he made me to be. But that really, 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 really touched my heart.
That was so sweet.
I'm
Oh
so
my goodness,
I'm
it was so
like,
sweet. I would have
I
cried,
haven't
but
really
I'm a
talked to her in
crybaby though.
years. You know, I haven't really hi Candy K, and we're almost like our hours here already. That was fast, but I haven't really talked to her in years, and we did have a really great relationship. Like the way I met her wasn't even on mortgage. I was actually at an open house supporting my dad's wife, who was a realtor,
Hmm.
and she was the lender that was there. And that lady sat down. How old was I? Maybe 21, 22, maybe 22. That lady said to me, I ain't had no credit. That's when I was making all the bad decisions. And she sat down and talked to me like I was buying a house tomorrow. And we just hit it off. You know, like she was just educating me on everything. And
Hmm.
years later, she opened up her own brokerage. She asked me that I want to join. And I was like, no, I don't see myself doing that. I reached out to her 2 years later, like, hey, you remember you was talking about, like that. And we really
Right.
did have a really great
Right.
relationship. So that really touched me. But
And
that's the conclusion that I've come to, and what I've been thinking about lately, T, is that um, no matter how long I live, I want to make a positive impact to people. You know, I just want people to believe in themselves and know that they were created in the image of God. And with that being said, you have no limitations other than the
none.
ones that you may put on yourself or that somebody along the way of your life, because you go from that child that learning how to walk and you're not going to stop until you get it right
Hmm.
to slowly the world like putting limitations on you subconsciously and you like taking these in and then you get to a point where you don't feel like you can do anything, but you have to change that,
And your own mind putting limitations
Yeah,
on
your
you,
mind, absolutely.
because of the environment you may have
Hmm.
grown up in, or the
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly
circumstances that your life has presented you thus far may keep your mind in a place where you feel like you can't
right.
elevate, and that's not, it's just not true.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, like on a one-on-one level, kind of feel like it's something I wanted to talk about a lot on my channel, or if the message is underlying and stuff that I might make on my channel. But people that I talk to one-on-one, and have real relationships with in real life, like that's what I want them to know. That's why me and my sister used to, my sister are different like this. If there's somebody around me that starts a business, you can have a crappy product, I will be a first customer every time. You know why? Because I didn't started some businesses, and that first person that buys your product or does something that gives you such a
It
boost.
gives you that
It gives you
boost.
such a boost, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be that boost to anybody.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So
you
that, that, was,
do you do
that was my
give
more
that,
because I have been
Osmond.
thinking that. Thank you, T.
You do, like, you give that feeling out. So
Thank
I
you.
want to confirm that
Oh, I
it is
appreciate it.
something that radiates from you.
Thank you.
um
I thank God and I thank my mom.
I
Honestly.
want to make you feel good, man. She'll
And
make
that's
you
what
feel
I want
good
to.
about yourself. You
And I
like,
always want people to know, like, it's genuine. Like, this is how I see people. You know what I
hmm,
mean? Like, I see people as a whole. Is that, like, everybody has skills and talents. And I also feel like everybody has purpose, you know? It was somewhere in this book we were reading earlier where, like, you remember he was saying, you're not special, that chapter?
yeah.
And I said, when I first read that, it challenged my own thought because I'm like, yeah, everybody is. But he was basically saying that you're not special in the sense of, like, not everybody's going to tap into their potential, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yep.
Man,
And
that
hello,
hour.
Shanette and Candy have come
Hi,
in.
Jeanette.
Hey, y'all.
I can decay all day. All day.
But I think how we mesh well, though, Osland, on the flip side, I'm kind of I'm a cheerleader, very much a cheerleader person.
Yeah,
So I will cheerlead for people.
me too.
You give them like their faith, like you can do it, like you're,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, you got this. Like,
Yes.
I'll I don't know how many you got this messages that I can give
Yeah.
to people, but I truly believe that if you believe,
Mhm.
you can do it.
Absolutely.
Like
And you
it.
know that from your own experience, just like
Mhm.
me, you know, just like me, because for me, I'll be, like I said, I'll be 30 in June. Me, I'm gonna say 5 years ago, like I had to go through a period of work and
Mhm.
like self work to get to where I am today. Just like UT, you know, you had a period where you was, when you were my age, you were like transitioning into
Mhm.
becoming who you are now. And it's like when you go through that period and you go through that, you really do see everybody else can do the same thing. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? And so it's like you just want, you, not in a forceful way, but you want other people to be able to know it's possible. Don't for a second think that it's not. Whatever it is that
Mhm.
you're trying to do. LOL.
I just want people to know that it's not you're not bound by your circumstance. I think
Right.
a lot of people today believe that they are bound. They are just bound by their one of these days.
Hmm.
One of these days, boy, I'm gonna go home. I just want to, and
What?
I'm just gonna show where
You grew up?
yeah, and
Ooh,
I just
that
really
would be
want
such a
people
great
to
video.
see,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you are not bound by your circumstances unless you feel bound by
Yeah.
them. If you have bound yourself by them and you have said this is what I got and this is all I'm going to be, then yeah,
Hmm.
you're bound.
Yep.
But if you're not, if you don't have that feeling, if you could see any inkling
Hmm.
of hope and drive and you are not bound. You are
Yep.
not bound, and I think it's mental. I think so many things are unlocked by our mental state.
Yep. It starts with your with your thinking first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because thinking leads to feelings, and feelings lead to actions, and it's just
Yes.
a trickle effect. Um, but yeah, yeah, you're right. Um, man, I feel we're gonna have to come to a stopping point because I can keep going.
I know this is a great conversation, though. This is like
Yeah.
one of those really good ones where it's
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
we've extrapolated a lot of things from
Hmm.
from
Right. And
just
you know
those
what's
two
crazy?
chapters.
Like, I don't know, 7 and 8, well, they were like easier to digest to me than the other
Mm-hmm.
ones. And I don't know if it's because I've been reading a book or if they were just more easier to digest, like, and touch all the points. You know what I mean? You know how, like,
I,
lately, last couple of weeks, we've been like, man, there's so much. This one, I feel like I kind of had more of a grasp on what he was saying. So I don't know if it's the chapters or if it's
mm-hmm.
just from knowing how the book is outlined now, knowing what to expect.
And
But it was good.
I think they were just probably these two chapters are the most universally relatable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe
That's
that's
it.
it.
That's
I
it.
think anybody can look at these and have a feeling or instance of like I've been there, I understand that, I've gone through that, or I've done that before. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I think that's it. They're just really universally relatable chapters.
Mhm.
Chapters 7 and 8.
Yep. So T, next week we have and everyone on the live and on the replay. Of course, this is how me and T got on that topic.
Yeah, we weren't just talking about that, y'all.
So T, next week is our last chapter in this book, and then we got to pick another book.
I know we
We're
have
gonna
to.
already be on our
So we're
third
gonna
book.
start this week. We will toss around some ideas, and we'll do the same thing. We'll do a
Yeah,
poll.
yeah. Oh my God, we're just moving along.
It's our second book we're
Our second book.
finishing.
Yeah, we're almost done. Our last chapter is next week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could put this on my one of my favorites.
I will probably read this again.
That's how I feel about it too. Or
Mm-hmm.
at least
I think I will read it
audio
again.
book, listen to it again.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's just for the delivery, his delivery is enough to make
Yeah,
it
and you
one.
got his second book, which is good. I know you're enjoying that
Yes,
one.
I did, and I haven't
Yeah.
even looked at what that one's about.
But you know that you got something good
Yeah.
because of it's still the same guy writing it.
Mm-hmm. It came in a little box set,
Hmm.
but yeah.
All right. Well,
I've got to go take some more medicine.
yeah, this has
I'm
been
like
another great
breaking down now.
episode. Everyone, we'll be back next week for the final chapter of the subtle arts, and we'll be back to our regular scheduled program tomorrow.
Hmm.
So we'll be here at 5 Central, 6 Eastern,
Yes.
and thank everyone for watching.
Thank
Bye,
you so much,
y'all.
everybody.
I love you, T.
I love you
I'll see you
too.
later.
Oh, okay.
All right, bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.